The world within these walls was inconceivable.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're explaining the shocking crimes of Jeffrey Epstein and the latest developments surrounding the late financier. Warning, certain information contains distressing details.
He does nasty things to his best friends' wives.
Who is Jeffrey Epstein? To grasp the full scope of Jeffrey Epstein's infamous crimes, it's important to first look at his background. Born on January 20th, 1953 in Brooklyn, New York, Epstein was raised in the working-class neighborhood of Seagate and Coney Island. Nicknamed Bear by his parents, Epstein grew up with a younger brother and was described as, quote, smart but quiet as a child. Following his schooling, he began teaching at Manhattan's elite Dalton School. However, reports suggest Epstein often pursued female students during his tenure.
This was probably the start of Epstein's lifelong pattern of getting away with things that most people can't.
After being dismissed for, quote, poor performance, he joined Bear Stearns, an investment and brokerage firm, where he quickly rose to advise wealthy clients. By 1981, Epstein had left to start his own consulting firm, and by 1988, he founded J. Epstein & Company, aimed at serving billionaires.
In the 80s, he hit it out of the ballpark. A lot of powerful men liked him and trusted him to handle his money.
Over time, Epstein expanded his portfolio by investing in several media ventures and high-profile hedge funds. Epstein would go on to have a romantic relationship with socialite Ghislaine Maxwell in the early 90s.
By most accounts, their boyfriend and girlfriend, I use that term pretty loosely because certainly they had a very open relationship.
The pair rubbed shoulders with some of the world's most influential figures. Maxwell remained closely associated with Epstein until his death in 2019.
She did say to me, "The reason Jeffrey keeps me around is I don't make mistakes."
Crimes.
He was a narcissist. He had no ability to feel empathy.
Jeffrey Epstein's crimes revolved around a vast network of exploitation and targeting vulnerable young girls. In 2005, police in Palm Beach, Florida began investigating Epstein after a parent reported that he had violated her teenage daughter.
It was an incident that occurred maybe like three and a half weeks ago with one of my stepdaughters.
This investigation unearthed a pattern of luring vulnerable young girls to his various residences under the guise of them providing massages, only for things to escalate into unlawful sexual encounters.
They basically turned victims into prostitutes. These were girls with absolutely no history and no past. To brand them that in a plea with him was just, for lack of a better term, disgusting.
The girls were often promised money, education, and career opportunities for their services.
This is how Jeffrey Epstein created a sexual pyramid scheme.
Although evidence pointed towards multiple victims and a potential trafficking operation, Epstein secured a highly controversial plea deal in 2008. He pleaded guilty to 2 state charges: solicitation of prostitution and procuring a person under 18 for prostitution. This deal, widely criticized for its leniency, resulted in an 18-month sentence, of which he served only around 13 months in a private wing of a county jail with liberal work release privileges.
It was outrageous. That's when we learned for the first time there's not a deal about to happen. A deal actually already happened. It's already done. The case is over.
Years later, renewed scrutiny and continued investigations led to federal charges. In 2019, Epstein was arrested and indicted on charges of trafficking teens and conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking, facing accusations involving dozens of victims. The investigation also included his associates and alleged co-conspirators, notably Ghislaine Maxwell, who was subsequently convicted of trafficking charges related to her involvement in the crimes.
It was vast, it was significant, and it harmed literally hundreds of young women.
Epstein and Maxwell also faced a flurry of civil lawsuits from victims. Epstein Island. One of the most notorious aspects of Epstein's life was his private island, often referred to as Epstein Island or Little St. James. The approximate 72-acre land in the U.S. Virgin Islands featured an 18,000-square-foot mansion, swimming pools, private beach, helipad, and other luxurious amenities. Epstein purchased the island in 1998 and invested heavily in renovating and expanding the property. The island was often referred to as a, quote, private paradise and, quote, love nest. where Epstein entertained high-profile guests. Flight logs show that numerous prominent figures, including politicians, businessmen, and celebrities, visited the island over the years.
It has hosted American politicians, world dignitaries.
It is widely believed that the island was used as a hub for his trafficking operation, where Epstein would bring victims to engage in illicit acts with him and allegedly his guests.
Today, ABC News right there as the FBI and NYPD raided Jeffrey Epstein's private island in the Caribbean, a task force from the Southern District of New York.
However, definitive evidence linking specific visitors directly to criminal activities has been limited, with many questions about the true actions on the island remaining unanswered. Death.
ABC News learning it's unlikely there's surveillance video showing the moment he died.
On August 10, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found deceased in his prison cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City while awaiting trial. Authorities ruled his passing the result of Epstein taking his own life. However, his sudden death sparked numerous suspicions, as many pointed out failures in the jail's surveillance and security protocols.
We are now learning of serious irregularities at this facility that are deeply concerning and demand a thorough investigation.
Those protocols mandated that Epstein have a cellmate and that checks be conducted every 30 minutes. These were not followed on the night of his death.
Why wasn't anyone watching Epstein in jail? How was he allowed to take his own life?
With the inclusion of malfunctioned cameras, the circumstances of Epstein's demise have raised serious concerns and remains a contentious topic with no shortage of theories around whether foul play was involved.
I think it's the never-ending story. Did he kill himself? Was he killed? Was there a hideout? Did, one of these powerful men pay a prison guard to kill him?
As for Ghislaine Maxwell, she was sentenced to 20 years in jail for assisting Epstein. Her appeal against the conviction has since been rejected by a U.S. court. The Epstein List.
Just some of the famous names among a list of 150 revealed overnight in newly unsealed court papers.
Unsealed court documents in January 2024 from a lawsuit filed by Virginia Giuffre against Epstein and Maxwell revealed several high-profile associations with Epstein. Magician David Copperfield was mentioned 6 times, with accuser Johanna Sjoberg stating that Copperfield had dined with Epstein multiple times, often with young girls present.
He allegedly performed magic tricks for Epstein and several of his victims during a dinner at Epstein's townhouse in New York City in 2016.
The documents also reveal that Epstein trafficked victims to influential figures for, quote, business, political, and financial gain.
Includes references to familiar names, from politicians to celebrities.
Victim Jane Doe No. 3 alleged she was sent to powerful individuals, including an unnamed prime minister, and was asked to recount details of the encounters to Epstein.
That Maxwell directed her to have sexual contact with people including former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, Prince Andrew, and tech guru Marvin Minsky.
And while Prince Andrew's close ties to Epstein and allegations of inappropriate behavior have always been alleged, Sjoberg testified that Prince Andrew touched her inappropriately. Jane Doe No. 3 also said she was forced into relations with the prince while she was a minor.
No, nothing. Never happened.
Epstein's housekeeper, also in a Florida court legal deposition, said that you visited the Palm Beach residence around 4 times a year.
One of the more startling claims involved physicist Stephen Hawking, whom Epstein reportedly hosted at a 2006 Virgin Islands event.
The highly anticipated documents also mentioned theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking.
An email Epstein sent referenced Hawking being part of a, quote, underage orgy. Bill Clinton's name appeared frequently in the documents but was not implicated in any illegal acts. However, Epstein allegedly commented to Sjoberg that the former president, quote, likes them young.
She is asked, did Jeffrey ever talk to you about Bill Clinton? She responds, he said one time that Clinton likes them young.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Released audio clips about Donald Trump. Recorded in August 2017 during interviews for author Michael Wolff's book Fire and Fury, newly released audio tapes are providing insights into Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump's supposed complex relationship. Despite being a known offender at the time, Epstein spoke openly, calling Trump his, quote, closest friend for 10 years. While he described Trump as, quote, charming, he also labeled him, quote, a horrible human being.
Anyone who first tries to gain your trust and then uses it to do bad things, that's how it goes.
Epstein likened Trump's charisma to that of Bill Clinton, saying both men, quote, tell everybody what they want to hear.
Both Bill and Donald have the ability to go over to a fat, ugly woman, say, you are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
He also accused Trump of doing nasty things to his best friends and, quote, his best friends' wives, suggesting Trump would exploit personal relationships for his own gain. Trump's team dismissed the remarks as, quote, false smears, and Wolff has faced criticism for withholding the tapes until now, as well as his timing in releasing them days before the U.S. election. What questions regarding Jeffrey Epstein do you hope to get answered? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
I'm sure many people wanted him dead. He had a lot of information on a lot of people, a lot of blackmail videos and pictures.